There we go. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. All right, let's see here. Mute that. There we go. Get these off. All right, how's everybody doing this morning? Let's get this speaker over here. There we go. Can you all hear me okay? Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello, hello. Yes. Okay, good.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes. You're good.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, thank you. It is episode 909, August 18th, 2021. My name is Sean Murphy. I'll be your host here for the next little bit. Great to have you all here. Put my lucky hat on. There we go. So, question for you. Have you sent out your messages of joy, of gratitude, of love, of happiness? Have you sent out those things that say, hey, I'm a good soul and I'm thinking of you? How about that, huh? So, good morning, everybody. We're continuing on with the master class. Lots of things moving on here. We're continuing on with the master class. Good to see you on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube, and the VIP community. Great to have you here. So, I got to tell you, the more I'm diving into the conversations of the master course and what's going on with everything seems to be evolving around the subconscious mind. And so the question then begs, if Napoleon Hill talks about it, if Wallace D. Wattles talks about it, if Earl Nightingale talks about it, if Tony Robbins talks about it, if Joseph McClendon talks about it, if Dr. Wayne Dyer talks about it, if Joe Dispenza talks about it, what are you talking about? Are you talking about, are you having conversations about the subconscious mind? Are you hearing yourself communicate with your subconscious mind? Because that's the big question. What are you doing to have those conversations that's going to allow you to have an opportunity to connect with, to have access to your subconscious mind? There is a gateway. There is a pathway. There is a link to it, right? So there's 3 levels of consciousness. There's the conscious. You and me are having that right now. It takes about 2% of your brain. Science says about 10% of your brain is what's used to make up your conscious world. Think about that for just a second. 10% of your brain makes up your conscious world. What does that mean? It means possibly that there's 2 other levels of the brain that the brain uses that authority, that power, that consumption of energy. So there's the conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious. They say anywhere from 50 to 60% is the subconscious. And then 30 to 40% is the unconscious. Now, the subconscious and the unconscious are constantly in communication with each other, and we don't even know it. So how do we connect to both of those? Well, we do it through emotion. We do it through slowing down. We do it through meditation. And that's kind of the conversation that Napoleon Hill's been having here in the first in the first few pages. Because this chapter that we're talking about, we're still in chapter 1. We're on the 6th premise. And it's about setting yourself up for this idea that you have a connection with the subconscious. So, 6th premise, here we go. It's a short one today, so there'll probably be some more questions. 6th premise, the subconscious section of the mind appears to be the only doorway of individual approach to infinite intelligence. Now, he goes on and say it appears to be, right? So before you get lost in that being the only way or a definite conversation, right? Let's just talk about what this says. He talks about infinite intelligence. I call that God. That's my maker. That's what I call. Whatever you choose to believe in, universal intelligence, infinite intelligence, a creator, whatever it is, there's something that beats your heart. There's something that started your heart to beating. And there's also something that, good morning everybody, great to have you here. There's something that beats your heart. So what is this infinite intelligence? Where else do we see infinite intelligence? Right? We see Wallace D. Wattles talk about infinite intelligence. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made that permeates and penetrates and fills the inner spaces of the universe. So the 6th premise, the subconscious section means there is a part to it. And if you don't know where it is, where most of us don't know where it is, there's not a place in the brain where you can go, subconscious. We can see parts of the brain that operate in the subconscious, but there's not one little section like, your shoe, the place in your closet for your shoes. There's not like one particular section. Good to have everybody here. Hey, Derek, good to have you here. I think you're on Facebook. I forget which phone is which. Listen, I'm way above my technology grade here. I'm like a little out of my league. I got Anyways, we'll work through it. The 6th premise, the subconscious section of the mind appears to be the only doorway of individual approach. Individual approach means you got to do it. You got to go do the work. You got to set yourself up for success. The individual approach to infinite intelligence. I want you to study the language carefully. I said it appears to be. This is Napoleon Hill talking. I don't know if it is. I doubt if you do. If you know it's the only way. And I doubt if anyone knows it definitely. A lot of people have a lot of different ideas about it, but from the best observations that I have been able to make through thousands of experiments, it appears to be true that the subconscious section of the mind is the only doorway of individual approach to the infinite intelligence. And it's capable of being influenced by the individual through the means described in this and subsequent chapters. So here's a question for you. If your subconscious mind is individually influenced by you, can be individually influenced by you, does it mean it can be influenced by others as well? Well, we know that to be true. We know that to be absolutely true. And hold on here, need to plug in a charger. So if it can be influenced by others, the question then becomes, who are you letting influence your brain? Who are you letting influence your subconscious mind? Because that's key. That's key to understand. That's key to become totally aware of. And this is why they call it programming. Sorry for those of you on Facebook, my hand's sticking there in the camera. I'll get used to it. Too many cameras, 3 cameras looking at me. This is in italicized writing. The basis of approach is faith based upon definiteness of purpose. I was reading this morning in Science of Getting Rich, and I got to tell you that, so I read the chapters 7, 4, and 14 each morning. And I don't know what it was, but this morning I went so I couldn't get past the first page. To secure harmonious relation, right? With the intelligence, with the formless intelligence in a harmonious way, relate yourself. He talks about many people who have lived their lives rightly in order to keep many people who order their lives rightly in all other ways are kept in poverty by lack of gratitude, and gratitude is what brings you faith. Here Napoleon Hill's talking about the basis of approach is faith based upon definiteness of purpose. What is your definiteness of purpose? Today, just let's start with today. Let's start with the next hour. Let's do the next half hour. In the next half hour, what is your definiteness of purpose? I know you're here. I know you're having a conversation with me. Hopefully we're having a conversation. It's just not a monologue. I'm saying stuff. You're thinking ideas. You're relating some of the conversations you have with me. You're hearing other people you've heard teach and conversations. Something you said, oh my gosh, I was just listening to this yesterday. Right? A lot of times I'll hear that. Good to see everybody on Instagram. Great to have you here. Hello, everybody on Facebook. So, what is your definiteness of purpose in the next 45 minutes? What will change in the next 10 minutes? What's that clue? What's that thing? What's that word? What's that observation that's going to hit you like a bolt of lightning? Because it is available. That's the key. I don't know how else to explain it, and maybe one day as a farm boy, I'll figure out a way to get that across in a way that's easier for me to explain it. Because I don't want to sit in that 3% chair that goes, oh, you should do it. That doesn't serve anybody. I want you to feel I want you to get the feeling that you have the control, you have the authority, you have the capacity, you have the capability. It's impossible for you not to. If you can hold in your mind a dream, if you can hold in your mind an idea, an ideal is the worthy pursuit of an idea. If you can have an intention that allows you to step up, stand out, step into your glory, then you also have the capacity and the capability and all of the things necessary already inside you. You may acquire more information from the outside. The only way you acquire more information from the outside is because your inside is asking you the question. Does that make sense? Drop a Y in the chat if that makes sense, or if you can't find the Y, a 1. Does that make sense? Because my daddy says this, if it makes sense, it'll make dollars. So pay attention to that feeling inside of you. Women, ladies, listen, I'm going to speak to you for just a moment. In my 56 years, I've not had the honor or privilege of having the incredible mind vibrations that you all have, your incredible ability to have intuition, right? Women's intuition. You ask a guy, well, tell me about intuition, right? And they got to wipe the drool off their mouth. Most of us. Women's intuition, you are constantly tuned on, turned in. Why? Because the way the brain is designed, you have to be on total cautious guard because there's things out there that can hurt you. Here's the reality. The reason that we need that female brain, that female spirit to take place, to step in, to step up, to have more influence over the world right now is because your intuition is more right than it's wrong. And you have this capacity to serve at a higher level. The Dalai Lama said the world will be saved by the Western woman. I think we just take the word Western out. So if this is saying that the basis of approach is faith based on definiteness of purpose, ladies, if you've ever had to raise a child, you understand definiteness of purpose. If you ever had to take care of a family member, a friend, to be in service to them, even for a short period. Guys and gals, you understand definiteness of purpose. If you've ever had to rush to get to somebody, to take somebody to the hospital, God forbid, you understand definiteness of purpose. The question then becomes, why does it seem to fall short? Why do we seem to fall short? Why do we seem to lose faith with ourselves, in ourselves, when we want to go after what we want? Comes back to the programming that you've had, and that's called self-talk. All right, let's continue on. That one sentence gives you the whole key, to the paragraph. Faith based upon definiteness of purpose. Listen to these questions. You may want to write them down. And if you want me to repeat them, drop an R in the chat. Drop an R in the chat if you want me to repeat these. Do you have any idea why you don't have as much confidence in yourself as you should have? Listen, that's a serious question to ask yourself, because when you find the answer to that, guess what happens? So many obstacles fade away. Do you have any idea? It's also known as a QLQ, a quantum linguistic questioning in psychology. We use these kinds of questions. Einstein said the problems that are made by man can't be solved by the same mindset that created them. How cool is that? Do you have any idea why you don't have as much confidence in yourself as you should have? And listen, you're going to come up with some real cheesy answers to that. You're going to come up with some answers that say, bleh. Then ask yourself, why do I believe that to be true? Why do I believe that to be true? I know it's not true, but others tell me it's not true. Find your mentor, find your friends, your influential friends that you believe that have access to your spirit, meaning they can guide you. They'll tell you the truth even when you may not want to hear it or see it. Ask them, why do I believe that to be true? Why do I think I'm less than? You'll be amazed how quick they crush that idea. Here's the next question. Have you ever stopped to think about that? Have you ever stopped to think about why it is? Here, listen carefully. Many of us are in the power profession of MLM, mentors leading mentors, me loving more, moms loving moms, making lasting money. Those are all MLMs that I'm a part of. Have you ever stopped to think about it? Have you ever stopped to think about why it is when you see an opportunity coming along, or what you believe to be an opportunity, you begin to question your ability to embrace it? This was written back when? When was this written? 19 what? Are you getting the idea? This was Conversations. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. This book consists of edited transcripts and audio recordings of lectures given by Napoleon Hill from his master course. It was delivered in Chicago in May 1954. In 1954, they were asking this question. Have you ever stopped to think about why it is when you see an opportunity coming along, or what you believe to be an opportunity, you begin to question your ability to embrace it? Would it be fair to say then, that if 1954, this was worthy of finding space in a powerful book, worthy of finding space in a powerful training by one of the greats, if it was so prevalent then that they had to ask the question that they wanted to in the very beginning of the course, page 9, they wanted you to ponder that question. And if that was so important in 1954, and it's the same now, would it be fair to say that we don't need personal development, we need personal undevelopment? Isn't that asking you a question to undevelop programming that has been done to you? Isn't that asking you a way to say, why am I stuck? You have to undo some of the things that have you stuck. Possibly, would that be fair to say? Haven't you had that happen to you many times? 1954, this is 2021. 70 years ago? Not quite. Isn't that amazing? If you've had a chance to, oh, here's a big one. Listen to this. This is important. Because we assume proximity is association. And we assume association is proximity. I'll explain here. Let me read this to you. If you've had a chance to be closely associated with people who are very successful, you'll know that is one thing that they are not bothered by. If they want to do something, it never occurs to them that they can't do it. If you've had a chance to be closely associated with people who are very successful, you'll know that is one thing that they are not bothered by. If they want to do something, it never occurs to them that they can't do it. If you've ridden a bicycle, it never occurs to you that you can't ride a bicycle. You have that inside you. See, the challenge is most people don't have success inside them. If you grew up, listen, I'm a certified self-talk trainer. We know that negative self-talk that we do. Research says, science says that if you lived in a reasonably positive household, I'd like to find one of those households. Because I don't know too many people who were raised in a reasonably positive household. No fewer than 117,000 times did you hear negative influence programming put into your mind from people of influence, people of source, people of brothers and sisters. You're an idiot. You're a butthead. You're a this. You're a that. I was the baby of the family. Sure, we get a lot of, how do you put it? We get a lot of what seems to be advantages. Yet if you're the baby of the family, chances are you got some ridicule. You got some things said to you behind doors by brothers and sisters and cousins. At least I know that's what happened in my world. So think about the people you're in association with. Think about the people you're in proximity with. See, right now, you and I are in proximity. Tony Robbins says proximity is power. Social media allows you the proximity, allows you to dive a little bit deeper. The challenge is sometimes we don't see the real them in social media. Maybe I'm speaking blasphemy. Maybe that's just my own perception. Continuing on, I hope that in your association with Napoleon Hill Associates that you've come to know my distinguished business associate, Mr. Stone. He's talking about Clement Stone. Because if I ever saw a man who knows the power of his mind and is willing to rely upon his mind, Mr. Stone is that man. As a matter of fact, it's rubbing off on me, says Napoleon Hill. I thought I had a great supplier, but believe you me, I can go to Mr. I thought I had a great supplier. But believe you me, I can go to Mr. Stone anytime and have my batteries recharged too. What a grand thing it is to be around somebody who has complete control of himself, who has everything under control. I don't think Mr. Stone has any worries. I love this sentence. I don't think he would tolerate a worry. Oh. You teach what you tolerate. Think about that. You teach what you tolerate. Let that sink in for just a second. You teach what you tolerate. Think about your posts on social media. Those are teachings. Think about your comments and replies to people. Those are teachings. You teach what you tolerate. Can you raise your level of toleration? Tony Robbins talks about it's not that we don't lack resources, it's we lack resourcefulness. Why is it that 3% of the population have a library card? Sure, you can get everything online right now. I still have a library card. I got to go get a new one because when I lost my wallet, it was taken away. Funny how nobody went and used my library card. They went and used my identity instead of about $30,000 in false credit. Isn't that crazy? People assuming to be me. I don't believe he would tolerate a worry. Why? Because he has confidence in his ability to use his mind and to make that mind create the circumstances that he wants to create. Why? Because he has the confidence in his ability to use his mind to make that mind create the circumstances that he wants to create. That's the condition of operation of any successful mind. And that's going to be the condition of your mind when you get through with this philosophy that Hill has to share with us. You're going to be able to project your mind into whatever objective you choose, and there'll never be a question in your mind as to whether you can do what you want to do or not. Never a question in the world. See, that's the sixth premise in acquiring your definiteness of purpose. In chapter 7 of Science of Getting Rich, which is the biggest chapter inside of that book, it's about gratitude. In the Science of Getting Rich, the biggest chapter is about a feeling, is about an intention, is about a way you can operate, a vibrational state. That's the biggest part to acquiring your wealth. The Science to Getting Rich, the biggest chapter is gratitude. The first 6 premises in definiteness of purpose are your connection with the subconscious. What does Wallace say is the key to activate the subconscious? One thing only, gratitude. What's the doorway into the subconscious? Gratitude. What is the way to achieve all of your riches? Activate the mathematical part of your brain that does more than any other part of your brain. If the conscious mind is 10%, the subconscious is 40 to 60% of the brain's usage, and the unconscious, the primordial, right, the alligator brain is 30 to 40%. The biggest part of our brain we don't have access to. We allow it to be programmed on a regular basis. We don't know how to turn the key to access to turn it on, to be able to go in there and reorganize. Maybe it's time. You want to know how to do it? Gratitude. Gratitude gives you the key. Gratitude gives you the pass. Gratitude gives you the hall pass into your subconscious. Now, don't be surprised when you get there. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. I don't know. This is where my brain's going. When you walk into your subconscious and go, ah, what is all this? It's all the other stuff that has been put in there through programming. As a certified self-talk instructor, we say this when we go out to do trainings and at Kiwanis clubs and chambers of commerce and corporations. It starts off like this. Everything that you've ever said, everything that's ever been said to you, everything you've heard has been recorded in your brain. That which you repeat on a regular basis becomes permanent. We have on average 60, 70,000 thoughts a day. Research, psychology shows that 60 to 70 to 80% of those thoughts are not in your favor. So, you've got 60,000 thoughts. Let's say 50% of them weren't in your favor. 30,000 thoughts. And then you go and you're going to go, I'm going to go journal. Let me grab my journal. I'm going to go journal. I'm going to write down my goals today. And you skip a day. You just had 30,000 thoughts kick your butt, and you're having 4 or 5 thoughts about your thing, and you're like, I don't know why this doesn't work. Why can't I do this? This is crazy. How come they can do it and I can't do it? What are they doing that they're doing different? They're accessing their subconscious mind. Whether they do it, listen, Wallace D. Wattles in The Science of Getting Rich says even blockheads can get rich, but it's not about doing certain things, it's about doing things in a certain way. Is this making sense? I hope I can get this across to you. I get wired up. I get fired up. I've been up since 4 this morning, and man, there's just no time to rest. My mentor would say it this way: when you're in a gold mine, there's no time to sleep. I hope you realize you're in a gold mine. The gold is inside of you. The gold is in your subconscious. The gold is being able to have access and influencing the largest usage of your capabilities and capacities. So, there's the 6th premise. The 7th premise might even take 2 days. There's a lot. It's like there's a lot in the 7th premise. So, that being said, we're going to break now. We're going to go into the VIP community. My VIPers are sitting there. And we're going to have some Q&A, some live dialogue. I'll get some feedback from them. They'll get some feedback from me, and we'll go have a conversation. If you want to learn about that, you can go to personalundevelopment.com, and you'll get the link, and you can get started. Listen, between now and the end of the month, you can still get it for $9 a month. If you think this conversation was worth 2 Starbucks and a bagel, maybe tomorrow's will be as well, and you'll be ahead of the game. Personalundevelopment.com. I look forward to seeing you there. Look forward to seeing you in the Zoom. I appreciate you so much. And YouTube, you're the best. Thanks for being here. Love you bunches. Whoa, wait a minute. Something got turned over here.